Hey everyone, welcome back to Vibe Squaring. Excited to see everyone here for our first episode of 2026. As you hope remember, I'm Stan, your host, and we are getting back today to something that was more along the lines of what we typically would do for an episode. I know we wrapped up 2025 with sort of a year in review where we were able to look back at all the awesome, outstanding metrics for our AI initiatives here at CData. But today we're going back to actually working and building with CData, specifically CData Connect AI. And today's episode is going to be on working with OpenAI, working with CData Connect AI in conjunction with the OpenAI SDK. Cam, why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about what we're going to be getting into?
Yeah, we're going to build a Python application that will use OpenAI's ChatGPT models and CData Connect AI so that you can kind of build a chatbot that can connect to these data sources that you connect to in Connect AI, and you can vibe query your data.
Awesome. So how do we want to start today, Cam? Should we first do a quick overview of just the overall MCP and architecture?
Yep, perfect. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So here we are, and I am in our CData software GitHub. This GitHub repository contains the Connect AI OpenAI agent, which is the agent that we just talked about.
Yeah, I just want to point out here, everything that we'll be going over today is actually going to be step-by-step outlined for you in our developer guide on the CData website in our developer center. You'll see it titled the OpenAI SDK subpage there.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Stan. So let me jump into this and just show you a quick overview of what the architecture of what this application is going to do and look like. So we'll start with a Python application, which is what we're going to build. And then that Python application is connected to the CData Connect AI MCP server. And within Connect AI, we are connected to data sources. In this case, we're connecting to Google Sheets, which contains multiple sheets in Google Sheets that has different account data, support ticket data, usage data, and telemetry data for various sample accounts and customers. Then that Python application is also connected to the OpenAI API, connected to GPT-4, which then you can use natural language to query those data sources in Connect AI using the MCP server.
Awesome. So yeah, just as along the same lines of many of the episodes that we've talked about in the past, where we're actually getting your data to getting OpenAI's models to understand and be able to read your personal or private enterprise data and use it in your business to use OpenAI and LLMs for your own business context. It's not just hallucinating answers; it's actually calling tools to discover schemas and run queries. Right, Cam?
Exactly. That's correct. The OpenAI agent will be able to use the Connect AI MCP tools, and Connect AI is really cool where it has a really condensed set of tools that it uses. And because Connect AI has that semantic intelligence where it normalizes every data source, it can use that same set of tools to query any data source, allowing for multi-source reasoning really seamlessly and efficiently with Connect AI.
Awesome. Well, so great. Now that we've been able to look through just a high-level MCP and architecture overview, any prereqs that we should notify the audience about here, Cam?
Yeah, good shout, Stan. Right here is the prerequisites. So we'll be using Python 3.9. You can use anything above 3.9, which you can get directly from python.org. Additionally, we'll use pip, which is Python's package installer, and that will come included with Python 3.4 of above. And then you'll also need an OpenAI API key. This is to authenticate your connection to the OpenAI API and be able to use that ChatGPT model or the LLM that we're going to be using. Additionally, you'll need to sign up for a Connect AI account, which we have free trials available that you can sign up for. And we'll share the link in the blog and in the description of the video after this as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for going over the prereqs and just the overall architecture here. Before we start building, should we take a look at the sample data that we're going to be working with today, Cam?
Yeah, thanks, Stan. So we are in Connect AI now, and this is our Google Sheets connection where we have the demo organization. We have account data, opportunity data, tickets data, which is support tickets, and usage data, which is that product usage telemetry that we're looking for.
This isn't just some toy table. It's actually basically a mini CRM style data set we're working with.
Exactly. And this is all you need to set up. Once you configure that connection to Google Sheets, which you can do directly from our sources tab, and it's easy as going add connection, search up Google Sheets, and then authenticate using OAuth or your preferred secure authorization method. And then after you've connected to that sample Google Sheets, you're able to go ahead and set this up. What you'll need to do is also set up a PAT or a personal access token, which you can do from our settings page. You'll just go to the access tokens tab and then click create PAT. You'll enter a name for your PAT, which I'll just name test. And then you can copy that PAT. Keep in mind that this will only be shown once, so you want to go ahead and copy it now and save it for later.
Awesome. Now that we've taken a look at the prerequisites, we've gotten set up in Connect AI, we've seen the data set that we'll be connecting to. Let's get into building up the Python project. What's the first step here, Cam?
Yeah, the first step is going to be cloning that GitHub repository that we looked at earlier. So you'll simply go into your whatever place you're going to build this application. In this case, I'm using Visual Studio Code. You'll clone the Git repository, which you will just use that GitHub repository URL, which I will go ahead and do that. And then once you have cloned that repository, you're all set to work with it. It will just take a few more steps, which I will go ahead and open up a terminal, and we can go ahead and do those. So to start, you'll want to go ahead and enter the correct folder, which is that Connect AI OpenAI agent folder, which is that repository from GitHub. Next, you will want to pip install the requirements, which these are going to be all the prerequisites that are needed to make the Python application actually work. And now you are all set and your Python project is ready. You can run it next after you set up your environment variables.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Cam. And so in the environment variables, that's where we're going to want to leave our Connect AI credentials and the personal access token that we saw earlier, right? We want to keep those secrets out of our code.
Exactly. So you use a .env file, and this is an example of what that will look like. I'm not going to show my actual credentials, but here you'll put your OpenAI API key. You'll choose which AI model you want to actually use. You'll set your email, the CData email, which is your Connect AI email, and then the PAT that you previously generated. And then this is the MCP server URL, which is that remote server URL for the CData Connect AI MCP server.
Awesome. With that all set up, why don't we take a look at the actual code here? Want to walk us through the Python code?
Yeah, so we have three main Python codes, three main Python files that will actually run this application. So the first is config.py. This is the config class. So this handles all of your credential and configuration management. So this is where those OpenAI API keys, your PAT, and Connect AI email address are actually called and utilized. The next one is the MCP client class, which this handles all of the HTTP communication with the CData Connect AI MCP server. So this is the file that actually communicates and calls the tools for that MCP server for Connect AI. Then the last one is the agent.py, which is the MCP agent class. So this Python file is actually the AI agent that combines OpenAI with those MCP tools from CData Connect AI.
Awesome. And so that's going to be what enables the OpenAI model to actually reason over which tools to call and when it comes to responding to the user's prompts and queries, right?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. So now that we've been able to take a look at our Python environment and the various classes that will be required for this project, should we go for it? Should we go ahead and try running the app?
Perfect. Let's go ahead and run it. So I'm in that same terminal, and I am just running the basic_chat.py, which opens up this chat window. which you can see here in the terminal. I'll make it slightly bigger so that you can see it. And we have the CData Connect AI OpenAI chat assistant ready to go.
Awesome. And so it looks like it immediately confirms that it's successfully connected, and it even lets you know how many tools are available to it. That 9 looks correct. That's what we would expect. So let's go ahead and check it out. What's the first prompt we want to run here, Cam?
Yeah, perfect. So here I'm going to go ahead and paste in a prompt, and we're just going to ask it, based on this Google Sheets connection, show me our top 5 customers based on annual revenue. A very basic query, just basically a select query with a little bit of a formula to it. But let's see what it gets, what it responds with.
Yeah, and I noticed that you're letting it know which connection to use. I think it's always helpful to just be specific. Just going to improve your performance and make sure it's using exactly the right data that you're looking for. But it looks like we've gotten some results returned. Does that look accurate? Are we pulling our data from that Google Sheets connection data set that we touched on earlier?
Yes, we are. These are our top 5 customers. This is exactly what I expected. It seems to be querying properly. So let's follow it up with a second question now. So now we're going to have it do a multi-source query where it's going to query 2 different Google Sheets. In this case, it's using one source, but imagine this is a ticketing, your support ticket software like Jira, and your CRM data like Salesforce.
Yeah, and I think that really highlights one of the huge value adds of using a platform like CData Connect AI, where you're able to connect to multiple data sources. Obviously, in this scenario, we're just connecting to different sheets within our Google Sheet. But as Cam mentioned, you would be able to connect to Jira, Salesforce, anywhere your support ticket data might lie, and query that in conjunction with your CRM data using, again, the combination of everything Cam has shown here. CData Connect AI, MCP, OpenAI SDK for that conversational layer as well.
Yeah, exactly. And let's do a little bit of troubleshooting here. So we see it responded with an answer, and it looks like it's got it right. These are our highest ticket volumes, but they just responded with the customer ID, but not the customer name. I don't know the name based off of the ID off my top of mind. So let's go ahead and ask it, what are the account names for these accounts? And this is where just being able to talk to your data is a big deal. Because if you were just working in a dashboard, you would get this customer ID and you would have to manually run a query to find the account name for this customer. Now you can just ask it like you would conversationally, just natural language. What are the account names for these accounts? And now you can rely on OpenAI to get this answer for you and run the query for you.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Being able to use being able to interact with your data conversationally, it prevents you from being stuck with just a few fixed options. You can really essentially ask your data anything that comes to mind. You can ask follow-up questions, as Cam is doing here. Just makes for a much more flexible approach, I think, when it comes to querying your data and being able to find the answers that you need, whatever those might be.
Yep, and perfect. Now we got the account names, and now this is a little more meaningful for a human.
All right, awesome. So now we've been able to query our CRM data. We've gotten our top 5 customers. We've understood the customers of ours that are facing the high support ticket volumes. Maybe we need to pay a little bit closer attention to Green Mountain Medical Center, Aurora, et cetera, the ones that are listed there. What else do we want to ask our Python chat app here today, Cam?
Yeah, so we're going to go a little more advanced here. I'm going to go ahead and go back into Connect AI, go to our Data Explorer, and we're actually going to take a look at a derived view. So this is a derived view, which is a saved SQL query. And this query is actually calculating a customer health score based off of that Google Sheet demo customers. So this is querying the account data, it's querying the support ticket data, it's querying the product usage data, and it's generating a customer health score on the fly using a standardized format so that no matter what team member, what AI agent, no matter who is querying this derived view, it has a standard data set to come back to. And that way everybody is working with the same frame of mind when they're moving forward and running analytics.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I'm really glad we're highlighting derived views here, Cam, because I think this really speaks to the semantic context or semantic intelligence layer that CData Connect AI can help provide by pre-configuring the way that you're going to the definitions for these custom objects, these derived views. You are able to ensure common language across anyone who might be using the CData, the connection and the data that you connected to via CData Connect AI. Whoever's in front of this chat app can use those common names in order to ask and find information about the data within those custom objects just via conversational language like we're doing here.
Exactly. And so now with that derived view all set up, I can go ahead and ask the question based on the demo customer health score derived view in the CData connection, show me a picture of health for Premium Auto Group Europe. And now it can query that standardized derived view, like you said, using that CData Connect AI semantic intelligence, which provides a standardized access point for all of these data sources. So that way that multi-source reasoning is actually possible and efficient in Connect AI. And here we go. We got a pretty thorough overview now of Premium Auto Group Europe, which is a customer in that demo organization in Google Sheets. We have some usage information, their account type, their last usage date, how much revenue their company makes, their open opportunities and support tickets, and then some calculated health scores that you can actually come back to and see how healthy is this customer? How healthy is the account? Does it need some additional communication? Does an agent need to actually take some additional action to help the account? And it looks like it does here. It's at risk.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's really cool about this is OpenAI's model is actually even formatting the data that it's returning in a way that's probably even easier to read than maybe if this was just in a table that was returned to you. And as we touched on earlier, this is could be just a starting point. You have the world in your hands in terms of the follow-up questions that you could ask from here. So yeah, I think this is really awesome. Thanks so much for pointing this out in terms of querying a custom object or a derived view. And so yeah, I mean, with that, Cam, thanks so much for showing us everything from the prerequisites, the overall architecture, the Python project itself, configuring things on the CData Connect AI side. So with that, we're going to wrap up episode 13 here of Vibe Querying. As we just touched on today, we built a real Python chat app. That connects to OpenAI, uses OpenAI's models to actually query your live data all through the CData Connect AI connectivity layer. Cam, any last words you want to leave our audience with for this episode?
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. And if you want to follow along yourself, check out our developer guide on the CData developer page. Also, if you're building something cool with Connect AI or any CData product, share it in our CData community. We want to see what you guys are vibing with and building yourselves. We're really excited.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our Vibe Querying channel. We have our Vibe Querying subreddits. We have socials, and we have our CData community page, as Cam mentioned. So hope to see you guys on that site. Again, we will link the developer guide that has all of the steps outlined that we showed today in in the description via email that we'll send out, as well as the blog that we'll publish alongside today's episode. But thanks so much for joining us for the first episode of 2026. Glad we could start the year with a bang, Cam, with that awesome demonstration of working with CData Connect AI alongside the OpenAI SDK. Until next time, everyone, stay curious and keep vibing.